Good afternoon, and welcome to episode 1 of the GMDC Retail Tomorrow virtual series, Startup Mic Drop. I'm Patrick Spear, President and CEO of GMDC Retail Tomorrow, and we're happy you've joined us. We're excited to host you and your colleagues throughout this 2021 series, where you'll meet the thought leaders, disruptors, and provocative products and technologies that will inform and shape retail tomorrow. Throughout the year, we'll introduce you to the startups sponsored by our accelerator and aggregator partners at CART, Jumpstart Foundry, XRC Labs, Brandery, and SKU. Programs like this can only develop with the support of our members in the industry, and this series was made possible through the generous support of our series sponsors, Accelerate 360 and Navajo Inc. When we launched Retail Tomorrow 5 years ago, we did so with a vision to connect the industry to what's next. And since then, we've hosted numerous city immersions focused on specific retail themes and centered on meeting the innovators that are creating the future in real time. Following visits to the Bay Area, New York, Seattle, Toronto, Los Angeles, and Boston, we focused on creating and curating a virtual experience that will enable you to continue your innovation journey regardless of your current travel restrictions. If you've experienced one of our immersions, you know they're typically action-packed as we're constantly on the move. Rather than rely on PowerPoints and meeting rooms, we seek out the retail concepts, technology solutions, and innovative products for you to see, touch, and hear. We also partner with technology leaders like Google and Microsoft, universities like MIT and Harvard, and the accelerators and aggregators you'll meet in this series to bring a broader perspective on the platforms and trends that are enabling massive industry shifts. One element that's ever present in our events is an innovation demo day, which we've come to call Mic Drop. To date, we've hosted 15 Retail Tomorrow events and hosted multiple Mic Drop sessions with more than 100 companies within our alumni base, including Everlywell and Flash Foods, companies that are now scaling rapidly within the industry and companies we're proud to call our own. Today, our focus will be on commerce technology, not just e-commerce, but all commerce, in-store, in-hand, and in-home. For today's episode, we're excited to partner with CART, the Center for Advancing Retail Technology, to bring you 5 innovators who are working to improve commerce and the shopping experience with provocative technology solutions. We've also partnered and organize an outstanding panel of industry executives who will judge our presenters based on the following criteria: relevancy of the idea or concept, the team strength and experience, the business model, the presentation quality, and an overall score, including preparation and Q&A. At the conclusion of today's session, the judges will determine a winner who will then move on to our Mic Drop Showdown event in December with a chance to compete for $10,000. Before we get started with the competition, let's hear from our presenting sponsor, Accelerate 360.
Hello, everybody. My name is David Perry, CEO of Accelerate 360. We are excited to support the GMDC Retail Tomorrow Mic Drop. At Accelerate 360, we support innovation in retail for both CPG and the technology space. It's exciting to see these disruptive companies continue to add value and improve the shopping experience for the end consumer, along with improving the efficiency for retailers, wholesalers, and suppliers alike. For all of those companies competing this year, good luck, and may the most innovative company win.
And now I'm pleased to introduce an industry thought leader who has supported our Retail Tomorrow platform from the inception. Sterling Hawkins is the co-founder and co-CEO of CART. He's also a keynote speaker, workshop leader, and co-host of the Retail Tomorrow podcast. Without further delay, let's get after it. Take it away, Sterling.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, GMDC Retail Tomorrow. And thank all of you for joining Startup Mic Drop. I'm Sterling Hawkins, keynote speaker and co-founder of CART, and we are in for some fun today. You already know the changes in retail have never been happening faster. And that is what Mic Drop's about. To bring you the latest, the greatest, the things you need to know about right from the comfort of wherever you're sitting right now. Today's program, well, we're going to talk about commerce technology. Not e-commerce, not store commerce, but commerce. How digital is coming together within store to create better, faster, and different ways to shop. You've heard about robots, artificial intelligence, smart carts, and everything in between. And now you get to see some of the solutions making those things possible. I'm not alone today. I have an esteemed panel of judges that will be scoring our presenting companies. These are people that walk the walk, have years of experience creating change across their industries. Let me introduce them. First, we have Steve Hennig, Chief Customer Officer, Wakeford Food Corp. Steve's going to keep an eye on that all-important customer experience for us. Kindra Tatarski, Director, Touchdown Ventures. Kindra's been in and around the investment world for as long as I've known her. I'm not going to say how long that's been, but it's been a while. And she'll be looking at the startups from an investment point of view. Ashwin Nathan, VP Marketing at HEB, keeping us honest around how marketers will see and use some of these tools of the future. Neil Stern, CEO, Good Food Holdings, looking at startups from an overall operational retail perspective. And last but not least, Derek Gaskins, CMO of Yesway, looking for actionable and ready for prime time kinds of solutions as a retailer. Great to have all of you here, and thank you for joining us today, judges. Our first company is coming to us from the great state of Texas, which is finally starting to warm up again. They saw all the shelving in and around the store as something that could be smarter, more connected, and even brought to life. Let's welcome Marlo from Grocery TV.
So as Shelley mentioned, my name is Marlo Nickel. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Grocery TV, and we help retailers grow sales at the checkout. We do that with these smart displays that you see here on the right that help you both ensure your products are in stock and help customers actually want to buy those products more. We also do things around customer experience, like reducing perceived wait time, and we actually generate incremental ad revenue for you with paid advertising that we handle. So how do we get into this? Well, it starts with the checkout aisles that you have today. When you think about your typical fixture in the checkout lane, there's a number of problems that have been around for decades, and there really hasn't been a way to solve them. It's things like planogram compliance, which the average check lane is about 70% compliant, and it takes about 6 months for a new planogram to get deployed from when you send that first email to your stores to actually seeing it implemented. There's also things like out of stocks, which on average, we know that there's about a 15% out of stock rate in the checkout. And that's about twice as bad as the rest of the store. And that's really, that's painful for retailers. I mean, it's about $600 million a year that you're talking about in the lost front end sales. On the customer experience side, though, we also know that there's a lot of opportunity for growth. One of the top 5 complaints from customers is the wait time in checkout. And that's really hard because, that's the last memory they have before they leave your store. And then that translates too into engagement. When you think about the average person walking through the checkout, about 16 in 100 are going to convert and buy something. And when you ask the other 84 people, why didn't you buy? 2/3 of them are going to tell you it's because they just didn't pay attention. They weren't looking at the front end. So it's a lot of insights and stats I'm throwing at you. I can tell you that I don't know those because of experience in retail. My background's in technology. I've been writing code and building apps for all kinds of different businesses, but we're a really unique team in that the guys here on the bottom, Crest and Lance Elke, they're brothers. They actually founded one of the largest fixture companies in the US. They do about half the gum and candy racks in the checkout aisle around the country. And so they really had these problems and really the idea of trying to solve them. They had that, for decades that they were trying to address. And they came to their Crest's son, Don, and he actually said to him, hey, you're an engineer, you're a software developer, like, can you help us address these? Like, is there technology out there that we could deploy in retail? Don pulled Edward and me in. We've actually been friends since college. And after about 1.5 years of R&D, we developed Grocery TV, the smart displays that I showed you earlier. And the obvious thing they do is it's a digital display. You can put content on there. You can reach every guest every time they shop. And in doing that, you can lift sales on average about 13% for the products you advertise, which is great. But you can also do things like reducing perceived wait time. So every week we have entertainment content that we update on there, and guests actually say that they waited in line shorter than they really did because they enjoy the experience. We also use this as a way to generate incremental revenue for you, so paid ads that run on there. But the less obvious side is the merchandising front. So the displays have cameras built in, and we program them with your planograms. And by doing that, we can actually understand with an AI-backed system that we've got whether or not your products are in the right place and whether they're in stock. And by fixing those problems, we can help you lift sales at the front end further. So this isn't just an idea that's on a PowerPoint or something. We've been doing this for 4 years now. We're in nearly 2,000 stores across the country, big and small. We started with single store-owned mom and pop independents. all the way up to now retailers that have hundreds of stores under their banners. And that's really important because we know that retail is tough and every store is different, every experience is a little different. And we've learned to work in all those different environments. In addition to working with lots of retailers, we have tons of experience with manufacturers. And so again, like a lot of these ideas are not things I thought of. It's from working with people like yourselves and other brands that are at the front end. We partner with both Hershey and Mars and many other manufacturers around the store to really understand, how we can better improve this area. The one thing I would say, if you're paying attention, you'll see Pop Spots here. Some of you may actually know us as Pop Spots. We recently rebranded to Grocery TV, and we've actually been in Hershey's Innovation Center for the past couple of years. And so that's kind of where that comes from. So what's it like to work with us? Well, our service model is pretty straightforward. Especially in the last 6 months, we've been able to build a model where it's actually no cost to the retailer. So really, you're just our partner, and you say, hey, I want to do this. I want these benefits. We fund it with the ad revenue that comes from these displays. So it's simple to install. And actually, we have tons of experience getting into stores and working around the customer traffic, being able to be in and out and not, disrupt operations. From a service standpoint too, it's fully managed. So it's not something your IT department has to worry about. We just need to be set up on your Wi-Fi. And then once we're up and running after install, they really don't have to think about it. It's on us, on our operations team to monitor the displays remotely, make sure they're all up and running and working correctly. Because the last thing we'd want is, a display down or broken. And we don't want you to have to think about that. And then lastly, the really important thing is we're not just a tech company. We understand that it's important to have that human touch. And so every retailer we work with today has a dedicated account manager, and literally you get their cell phone. So you can pick up the phone, talk to them. There's no call center or anything like that. So that, you have both these capabilities, but also someone that can walk you through it. So to recap, we offer a lot of different benefits in a really small package. We're able to help you prevent out of stocks, which has been a problem that we've been trying to solve for decades in the industry. We give your marketing team a way to reach every customer during every visit. And by doing so, you can actually lift sales in a significant way. We can solve one of those top 5 problems in the checkout by reducing wait time. And finally, we can generate incremental revenue for you with paid advertising.
Judges, what do you think?
Marlo, how have you guys noticed in the stores that you operate any slowdowns at checkout for the retailers that do have it?
That's a great question. So if you think about where the display is placed, we're really targeting the guest who's standing in line and less the person who's moving through the checkout experience. They're kind of already moving on from the display at that point. So the idea is really to focus on the people that are just standing there, like pure dwell time, don't have much else to do. And that's again where the reduction in perceived wait time comes in, is we're trying to make it feel more comfortable and not as long, right? So yeah, I don't have exact data that I can point to for you on that, but I could say when we designed the displays and their placement, it had that component in mind.
Marlo, great job, first and foremost. Really wanted to ask if you've thought about, and I have to ask this, I know it's called Grocery TV, but have you thought about other channels and smaller format retail, whether it be convenience or, dollar, drug, or any of those? And I know you're inside of the Hershey Center of Excellence, and many of us have also worked with Hershey on our front end queuing systems. So we'd love to hear how this could be actionable for someone such as myself with significantly smaller stores.
Yeah, that's a great question. I appreciate it, Derek. So what I would say is that we're a technology company first. Like, instead of a lot of the other people out there that you may have seen who put screens in stores, where they kind of package together a bunch of different technologies and then try to go monetize the space. We actually built all of this internally. So the displays, like the hardware themselves, up to the software that runs everything, we do that all in-house. And so we're already working on a version 2 that is basically just a simple little box. You could put it with any kind of screen type and so have it in different formats. So if you think about for convenience, it might be something that's behind the checkout, like over the cash register kind of thing. So a little bit larger screen, a little bit different experience. We're looking at other ways we could deploy it in a queuing system. So I really think this is just the first step. We're very interested in just digital signage throughout the store, but you got to start somewhere. So I'm sure you understand that.
Marlo, I have 2 quick questions for you. One is, how do you operationalize the data that kind of ties to that planogram? How do you actually get that restock happening? And then the second question is, I'm assuming this is a SaaS model, but maybe just talk a little bit about your business model and you own the screen, things like that.
Yeah, so I would say it's not an easy problem to operationalize the data, and I'm sure like any retailer can appreciate that. It's one thing to say, hey, here's the problem, and another to actually fix it. But there's a number of different things we do. We can actually share the data directly with the store managers, or if they have a front-end manager, we can do that and basically slice the data up into, here's your top 5 things to go work on, or the top 2 lanes to go look at. But we can also do it on the other end. So, corporate category manager, and say, hey, here's your top 10 stores to go look at. This is kind of your triage. Let's figure out what's going on here and get into these and apply some best practices from the other end of the spectrum, your stores that are doing really, really well. So there's no one silver bullet, and there never really will be, but just being able to have the data is that kind of first big step. And that's where we start to see improvement. As far as the business model, that might take a little longer than the time I'm allotted. But in general, I can say that most of this is through the paid advertising for these displays. So, that basically funds the system and our business. Although we are starting to get into just pure product merchandising. So taking image data from in-store from any part. So like it could be a person going in, taking a picture of their phone, and also automatically tracking that kind of stuff.
This next company is transforming what that checkout might look like entirely. In fact, putting it in the palm of your hand. Let's welcome Didi with Future Proof Retail. Didi.
Hi, I'm Didi Chan. I'm the president and co-founder of Future Proof Retail. Thank you for having me here. I am excited to share with you how we can offer a stress-free shopping experience with touch-free mobile checkout for your retail stores. Why mobile? Because that is where your customer is, and that is where you can form the best connection. And it can be as simple as scan, pay, and go. So what's unique about us? Well, we have results. We have the best industry results, and we're currently live on 3 continents, 5 retail verticals. But for today's presentation, I will focus exclusively on US grocery. We're the only company that solved every point of line with our line-free mobile checkout and our line-free counter service technology. We offer you a complete platform that includes a customer app that they download on their smartphone so they can shop and pay inside your stores. There's a merchant app to handle loss prevention, ID check, and customer service in real time. And finally, there is a full backend with more than 30 different customizable metrics for business analytics and intelligence. So how is this relevant to your store? The immediate ROI we can deliver is first, we can give you a faster, cleaner checkout that is proven. Especially with COVID-19, we offer a full touch-free solution that has generated up to 30% shopper adoption. Second, we reduce operational costs. It is very easy to set us up. We don't take up much space, and we're effective and efficient. Third, we give you that customer service. We're the only company in our space that allows shoppers to review and send feedback after every trip. So we open up that digital customer service platform for you to connect with your most valuable shoppers. And finally, the holy grail of frictionless checkout is personalized marketing. It doesn't make a huge impact when you offer a coupon before or after the trip. The most impactful moment is offer the right coupon at the right time to the right person. And that is an interactive moment, the moment of scan. And before any extra funding, we have proven more than 5% basket boost in just the early results. Great, this can do good for your business, but is it relevant to the industry? Absolutely. Since 2017, Amazon and Alibaba, the e-giants, came offline and started competing in the grocery space. We position ourselves as the trusted technology partners that can give you affordable solution to compete with the e-giants. Furthermore, last year when COVID-19 hits, we went from setting the record of getting 10% adoption within 1 year of rollout to hitting 30% adoption. Just to put things into perspective, e-commerce has been mature in the grocery industry for 2 decades. And with the COVID boost, they only reached 20-something% shoppers adoption. So we have results, and this is why the e-giants are coming offline. And finally, we're past the point of the earliest adopters. The top retailers of US retailers on the slide are investing in scan and go. And there's a bunch in Europe too. And the companies that have achieved record results like us are Sam's Club and Sainsbury. And both of them have revamped their app at least twice. And we also offer our services to help the big retailers because we know this is the technology of the future. So what makes us so confident? We've been making mobile app since the launch of the app stores. All of the logos you see on the slides are programs that our team has collaborated on for more than a decade prior to Future Proof. So we want to lead a new industry, and we want to do it transparently, and we want to do it in a way that is a win-win. Great, we have the tech, we have the scale, we've proven the result, but what about the grocery side? Well, that's why we partner with the biggest and the best. We have a bunch of partners on our website, but these are the top US partners and wholesalers, POS players, and integrators that we work with. So we can give you confidence in both the technology and the business side. So at the end of the day, I can give you a list of resumes, but the results speak for themselves. Nobody has accomplished the type of results that we have at a fraction of the cost. We have happy customers and happy clients. And we can put our money where our mouth is, which is why we're the only company with a fully transparent business model. We don't lock you up into long-term contracts. We offer month to month. We have the grocery are in the standard model. We have a monthly base fee and a per transaction fee that scales down with volume. So we're truly your tech partners, and we can truly deliver a win-win solution. And here's some example of our happy clients and some of their setups, so you can visualize what this looks like in real life. Westside Market with their sign, Fairway with their different labelings with bagel and the scale setup. McKeever, they have the easiest, it's just one tag and a light. Mother's Market, they make it nicer with a big setup. And Big Y with a simple counter, you're ready to go. So thank you.
Great job, Didi. I can't wait to check out my local store with my mobile phone. Judges, questions from you.
Didi, I think the question I have here is, are you essentially the white label platform for small retailers? And are you really going after retailers who are not as tech savvy or don't have like product engineering orgs versus medium-sized ones and big ones who would want their own app and have their own infrastructure?
We're doing everything. We offer both white label, and we offer a universal app, which is Express Checkout, that works in every retailer with their branding. So we have the smallest clients from micro markets to the biggest retailers. We have tier 1 clients that we're working with that they have multiple brands that we use one brand for their stores. So we do everything, and we have testimony from all kinds.
Kendra?
Question for you about the in-store usage. A lot of times Wi-Fi is not great in stores. Sometimes stores have it. How are you making sure to reduce that friction for the customer?
So it depends on the store and the client. So some of our clients have used a repeater to strengthen the Wi-Fi. Some of them have added in-store Wi-Fi. And also because the cell phone has gotten better. So sometimes you can do pretty well just on cellular data, especially if there's a Wi-Fi outage.
And I guess, Neil, last question.
Okay. How are you, one of the issues with this technology is shrink. And how are you able to help retailers battle that?
Great question. We actually work on shrink for more than a year, and we have the best results. We have award for one of the top secure solution in the market. And so we have multiple customized shrink program because retailer is not one size fit all, and different store might have different policies. So we work with your loss prevention policy. So the most popular way in US grocery is to use a light bulb, a beacon, and we make it customized so it can be very pretty, and it's audited. So people kind of have a trust score. So the better they go, they pass, and then the less they audit, but there's always a random element. And with more than 100,000 checks, we have a 99.8% accuracy rate. And in Europe, they use the security gates. And some stores for their top item, they use RFID security. So we can also integrate with those completely like weighted solution as well. So we work with you and we ask what's important to you. And we find out the loss system that works with you. And this is the most secure self-checkout system with results in the market.
There's more than one way to check out of the store of the future though. And our next company comes to us from Amazon's backyard in Seattle, Washington, and for good reason. You'll see why. Let's welcome Sharik with Vive.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sharik Siddiki. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Vive. Vive is a computer vision retail startup that is here to change how you shop in stores entirely. One of the key things that I would like to start with is our team. So Vive is a team of ex-Amazon. We have combined 40 years of Amazon experience. Myself, I spent 10 years at Amazon building various different products and services. Prior to Amazon, I had my own startup, which was acquired by BMW Interactive. Omar Sadek, who is the co-founder and CTO, he was director of technology at Amazon, integrating for Prime Now with third-party retailers. So combined, we understand how consumer products work, we understand how to scale systems, and we are here to disrupt the grocery experience. What I'm about to show you is not just changing how the cashierless movement is working right now, but also how we think about the future of in-store shopping entirely. This is a video that I'd like to present where we're gonna talk about how Vive's smart cart works. So customer walks in to the store. All they do is find out about the carts. They place a bag in their cart and enter their phone number to check in. Once they have checked in, all they do is simply place the items in the cart, and the cart will automatically recognize what item it is using computer vision. There is a barcode scanner on the cart in case the item is not recognized because the product packaging changed or anything like that. The customer can simply pick the item up, scan the item, and put it back in the cart. As you remove items from the cart, it'll automatically identify what item was removed, and it'll take it off from your virtual cart as well. There is a weighing scale on the cart that allows you to put produce and calculate the weight based on it. You can check out directly on the cart using a credit card or tap to pay. When you're done, pick up your bag and just walk out. So what are we seeing right now is the smart cart is doing three things for retailers. One, obviously, there is a reduction in labor cost. So by having more carts in the stores, you can reduce the number of your cashiers so that they can focus on other things such as like helping customers in stores or in stocking. The bigger advantage, what we're seeing is like having a real-time screen. And as personalization happens based on the products that are in the cart, based on the items that are that you've purchased in the past, we can recommend products. We can pull up your past purchases. We can integrate with customers' shopping list so that they never forget anything before they walk out of the store. Because there are cameras and a weighing solution embedded in the cart, the chances of you or the customer trying to steal something is fairly low. So unless they're actually putting something in their pocket, otherwise the cart will recognize. And if there is a reason for an audit, it'll send a notification to a store employee, and the store employee can go and audit the cart. Right now, we are deployed in 3 stores in Seattle and in California. We are seeing an exceptional results based on early feedback. The biggest takeaway because of COVID is that the customers love the idea of being able to come in, grab the items that they want. No reason to download an app, no reason to give permissions, anything. All you do is just grab the cart and start shopping. And when you're done, just walk out. Our revenue model is fairly simple, which is that there is 2 sides to it. One is hardware as a service. There is a store setup fee. And after that, there is a per cart leasing fee. On the other side, once we have a better understanding of customers, a better understanding of the retail, of the layout of the store, we can provide analytics that will improve the overall shopping experience and increase the basket size for customers. From the retailer's perspective, there are 2 main ROIs. Obviously, the labor savings. So, here's just an example. An average cashier cost, which is, on the low side is $20 in Seattle or California. The carts can come for as low as $1 an hour. So you basically see 50% reduction right away. But the bigger aspect of Vive's shopping experience is on the other side, which is the increase in personalization. We have some great momentum going on right now. We are working with some of the top retailers in the country, top 5 retailers in the country, and we are on our schedule to deploy 12 stores this year. So you're going to be hearing about Vive a lot in the next couple of months. With that, I will wrap up.
Sharik, I can't wait to see these around different places throughout the country. Judges, questions?
Sharik, I'm sitting here in LA and we've got 11 Amazon Fresh now. I'm seeing, so I've used the Dash Cart multiple times. How does your solution differ from theirs?
Well, I think the biggest thing is because Amazon is controlling the back end and the front end and the middle end of it. So they have a better control in terms of what inventory is coming in. And so their accuracy on computer vision is much better. We are working directly with third parties. And so there is a time it takes to get the computer vision set up and bootstrap that experience. So I would say that primarily that has been our biggest challenge. Overall, I think Amazon's product works great, but as we tested it out, we realized that the shrink is extremely high. That's because of customer centricity, where they would just trust the customers. And if they are losing some money, it's okay because Jeff Bezos can fund that. For us, retailers are, they want to make sure that there is no shrinkage because of the cart. So our policies are all kind of like tunable for the retailer themselves, that how much weight capacity they were willing to let go versus, the computer vision side of things. So those are the things that we think we can improve over time, but it's really the bootstrapping of computer vision for all of those products. And so initially the customer might see a barcode scanning happening more often, but the entire premise of our product is get into the store faster, let the customer's barcode scan. Why is that okay? Because they're already used to using self-checkout stations. Learn all the behaviors and gestures in real time rather than in a simulated environment. And after that, we basically have exactly like the Amazon Go experience, but hopefully doing better on shrink.
Steve.
Sharik, just two very quick questions. One, whose bank is clearing the transaction? And secondarily, who's driving the personalization algorithm?
Both really good questions. So I'll talk about the banks part of it first. Because a lot of retailers are right now running pilots, we have our integration with Stripe. And all we do is basically say that we'll create a child account on Stripe. You put in your bank account information, so the money goes. We really don't want to touch that money. Once the pilots are successful, we will basically be at par with your POS, which means if we want to have your POS or payment reader deployed on the cart, we can just swap out Stripe and put that in. So it acts as another, basically a POS on wheels. For personalization, because we are working with across the spectrum of like small to medium to the big retailers have their own personalization team, army of personalization. So we basically we'll essentially be consuming APIs for their personalization. So we'll tell them, this is what just went into the cart. What do you want us to show to the customers? But on the same note, because all our team comes from AWS and a personalization team, we build our own personalization. So if you're a small to medium size store, we can power that personalization experience.
Customer relationships exist beyond the store though, don't they? Instead of those silos around online, mobile, in-store, this next company has come up with a way to fulfill customer orders with the customer first. Let's welcome Matt from Store AI.
Thanks, Sterling. It's great to be here today. I'm Matt Walker, and I'm with Store.ai. Today's shopping experience is divided, broken, some might even say fractured. As you can see from some of the data points on here, there is just across the board a tremendous amount of unsatisfaction with retail's customers today. Whether it's unsatisfaction with search options, site navigation, customer service, or even fulfillment options of online orders, you see that the online grocery experience is developed apart and separate from the in-store experience. What's made that even worse is disparate touch points throughout the entire shopper journey. The question is how do retailers begin to address that? The answer for us is through a singular platform that looks to unify and bring together the disparate touch points that are created by the e-commerce and in-store systems. We call that customer first commerce, and that is what our platform is all about. Our platform really has four main pillars: customer engagement, digital merchandising, frictionless shopping, and where I'm going to spend most of my time today, fulfillment. Three of those, customer engagement, digital merchandising, frictionless shopping, are really kind of in the white label commerce platform space. And then the last element, fulfillment, is kind of its own standalone module that integrates with our own solution, but also can be deployed separately. Why is fulfillment so important to Store.ai? Well, the reality is because it's most important to you, the grocer. The reality is that online order fulfillment is extremely expensive and inefficient today for most retailers. Why? Because the online space boomed and there aren't a ton of great options out there for how you begin to handle this. Our fulfillment solution, we believe, is the linchpin to your entire kind of fulfillment and final mile strategy. This in-store solution is mobile, it's cloud-based, it operates in Android and iOS. It has 3 picking modes for optimized efficiency. It integrates to most major and I would argue almost all point of sale systems that are out there today. It also integrates with final mile delivery partners like Tortoise, who's also here today presenting. We've deployed with multiple MFC partners, and we can also operate our solution as a standalone app within a dark store. Let's not just listen to me. Let's talk to Tomer. Tomer is the head of digital commerce for Yanet Batan. Yanet Batan is the 2nd largest grocer in Israel with 200 stores and about $1.5 billion in revenue annually. They've been a Store.ai customer since 2018. Before Store.ai, Yanet Batan and Tomer had a very small online presence. Orders were picked manually. When I say manual, I mean manually. We're talking pen and paper, writing around the store, walking around the store. And they were largely considered to be uncompetitive in the online space. However, after Store.ai, they now have this massive online presence. They're processing over 25,000 orders a month via their online channel. And most importantly, they're growing their average order value by 5% per year in the online space using our platform. Specific to the picking app, however, those orders are being fulfilled at a reduced labor rate of greater than 50% of pre-deployment technology. So what does our engagement model look like? How would you interact with us? First off, we're kind of a SaaS company. We have a per store license fee. However, we don't believe in transaction fees. Grocers already operate on thin margins, and we don't want to continue to eat into that. Lastly, for some of our larger clients, our enterprise clients, we give you a dedicated development team so you can move fast. We don't want to slow you down. And in today's pace, technology is changing so rapidly that we want to give you a team that can work directly with your product team, your digital team, in order to move your goals forward quickly. What does that mean for our clients? It means many of them are frequently experiencing their ROI in less than 12 months. Our company has been around for a while. We were launched in 2014. We have our headquarters in Tel Aviv and NYC. We have over 300 retailers on our platform today. We process over 2 million orders annually, and retail is in our blood. Some of our key executives come from long backgrounds in the retail space, whether that's Retalix or Shufersal, the largest grocer in Israel. We also count some of the greatest partners to retailers in the US as our partners as well. Toshiba, Unilever, Trax, Microsoft, and Salesforce. So what do you say? How about we build the future of commerce together? Thank you.
Judges, questions? Ashwin, please.
Matt, yeah, I do have a question. When you talk about retailers, what size of retailers are you targeting? And then 2, having been on a SaaS platform before, didn't really quite work out for us, maybe depending on the size. How are you able to customize and tweak each retailer's needs? Because I'm sure that each retailer will have their own way to ultimately drive margin online to make this pay for itself.
Great question. So I would say there's a couple things to answer there. First off, we operate across the spectrum of customers, from independents to large enterprise retailers. However, how we begin to address some of the questions of deployment and the uniqueness within each is actually how we go after those independents. We're actually deploying more of a wholesaler strategy model and looking to amalgamate those independents under the wholesalers that are providing for them. We had success with this with what we call our Shapo network model in Israel, which was a partnership we had with Unilever. It was actually recently in the press in the grocer in the UK, where they were talking about the success of that business model. That's how we address the needs of that. And it also helps our business model because it allows us to start to treat those independents more as if we would treat a larger enterprise or regional retailer, because the size and the amount of those clients coming together.
Other questions? Neil.
Yep. How do you compare against other platform providers that are out there? What's your unique difference against a Unita or something else that's available to us?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a couple different things across our platform that make us unique. Firstly, within the fulfillment app, it comes down to the different types of picking modes that we can do, as well as how often and frequently those picking modes can be adjusted. So, for example, other competitors have 3 different layers of picking, but for store operations, say your demand spikes by 50 or 100 orders in one day, or you have labor call-ups of 2, 3, 5 people. All of a sudden, how you laid out and structured that app for that particular store with the integrations into the planograms has just changed. So for us, our fulfillment app can dynamically be adjusted on a store-by-store basis based on what that operational leader needs are that day. And I think that's a huge differentiator. The other side on our platform is that we're looking at that total experience. So we don't even like to use the word e-commerce anymore. In fact, that's why I was trying to get across the customer first commerce experience, because our platform is really looking at how we bring the in-store touch points into the online space as well, and not just focused on how you grow the online space.
Last but not least, what about the last mile? If the customer isn't in the store, how do we get the product to them efficiently, effectively, and safely? Well, we've got something for that too. Let's welcome Dimitri with Tortoise.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm Dimitri, co-founder and president of Tortoise, and we're solving the biggest challenge that retailers and grocers are facing in the last year, which is how do you respond to the explosion in demand for same-day delivery, as we now by default order everything online and expect it to arrive in a few hours. Tortoise specializes in this. We make it possible to have somebody in Mexico City or India be able to, at a low speed, remotely drive a light electric vehicle in Mountain View or New York or Minneapolis. We're headquartered in Northern California with our first teleoperations center and engineering center in Mexico City. We've raised over $3 million from fantastic investors, including James McCann, who's CEO of 4 multinational grocery chains, and has been invaluable in helping us penetrate this exciting opportunity with our technology. So what is it? Present to you the Tortoise cart. It's a remote controlled sidewalk delivery cart that can carry 120 plus pounds of goods. We lease these to retailers and logistics companies and grocers. When they receive an e-commerce order that's within a 3-mile radius of a store, they do the pick and pack just like they would any other third-party fulfilled order, load it into our carts, ping our system, and then one of our remote drivers takes it from there. Our carts can carry anything: alcohol, frozen goods, warm goods. These containers are modular and can be configured to support a variety of good types with our pickup truck style cart. And of course, our solution is 100% electric. And so this is important for retailers on many fronts. Most important is cost saving. Every retailer I speak to is losing money on Instacart. That's not very scalable or sustainable. So with our remote controlled automated solution, we're able to do delivery 2 to 3 times less than using a gig economy based solution or full-time delivery drivers. Our solution is 100% contactless in the time of COVID, 100% electric and sustainable in the time of climate change. We lease our carts to our customers, so it becomes an incredible out-of-home marketing driver for them. In fact, a great way to extend their CPG relationships as well and monetize the cart. And with our approach of operating on sidewalks, being remote controlled, you can deploy this pretty much anywhere. So this week was exciting for Tortoise because we launched our deployment with Safeway. Our teleoperator will unlock the container and they'll get their goods from the cart. This is the cart coming back to the store to get reloaded again for the next delivery. You'll see that nice Swiss Emporio co-branding that Safeway made happen. And then the last inches, you'll see us back in the store. getting loaded up just like any third-party goods. And so what does this cost? Pretty much nothing. So we've engineered our cart to be using commodity components, existing technologies. So this is not like $1 million self-driving car. We're able to lease a cart to our customers for just $200 a month. We provide all the maintenance and servicing on that, including that price. And then whenever you have a delivery, we just charge $1 per mile. And that's inclusive of insurance. We provide the remote driver. We do all the routing. So we're an end-to-end solution. Just tell us which cart and where we should drive it to, and we take care of the rest for just $1 per mile. This ends up being 2 to 3 times cheaper than your next best alternative for deliveries in that 3-mile radius. And you obviously have these fantastic co-branding opportunities as well. And our solution is really differentiated. If you've seen Starship food delivery robots, they're great for a burrito, but they're way too small for a typical online grocery or retail order or parcels or meal kits. And so we've built the first cart that is both low cost and can actually support grocery orders. And autonomous vehicles, one day will be great, but that day is many decades away. And so we're alone in the market with a solution that works great for grocery and retail and can actually be scaled up right away. And so that's Tortoise. I would love to take your questions.
Dimitri, this is the remote control vehicle I wanted as a kid. Thank you for finally making it. And I think you said the magic word for retailers, which is it costs next to nothing. But let's see. Judges, questions from you.
I wanted to jump in and just say, what is the use case if you're in a suburban area? What are the boundaries of the cart, and what is the vision in terms of the neighborhood that it services?
So that Safeway location we launched this week was in Tracy, California, which is probably a city you haven't heard of, which means it's a fairly low density suburb. So our sweet spot is anything within a 3-mile radius of a store. We go average speed of 3 miles per hour. So that's about a 1-hour delivery time kind of at the end of that radius. But it turns out that, from all the data we've seen, 50 to 60% of a retailer or grocer's customers already live within that 3-mile radius. And so use us, save a lot of money on the short deliveries with us, use DoorDash Drive for the longer deliveries, and that's going to be your winning solution.
Steve.
Yeah, Dimitri, I have a question for you. Can you give me a sense of how retailers would manage that inventory in their current environment today, as far as where they put them and where they keep them for safekeeping and whatnot? I'm really thinking about the back room per se, or the back of the building.
Yeah, so what we've seen is right now where it's getting managed, we're in the same location where curbside pickup orders are being fulfilled. So kind of closer to the front of the store. The actual loading of the cart happens right out at the front because customers love seeing the robot. It's cool and it gets people's attention. And we don't actually want to be driving inside of a store like you saw in that video, because it's, we go really slow there and it almost is too distracting. So we load it up at the front of the store, and then at night, it usually gets stored in that same room where the curbside pickup orders get fulfilled.
All right, one last question, Kendra.
What's the customer experience like? Are you plugging into retailers' existing e-commerce? Are you helping them set that up if they don't have it?
Yeah, so we're purely B2B. So we expose an API, so you can obviously track the location of a cart in real time and submit requests to us that way. We're actually partnered up with one of the other companies today, Store.ai. And so that's an example of how we're not trying to build the e-commerce stack ourselves, but we expose APIs. So either existing platforms like Store.ai, or if you have a proprietary system like Albertsons Safeway does, can easily integrate and handle all of that consumer messaging.
Well, that's the end of the presentations, and now we're about to get into the scoring phase. And I would say what a great job by the presenters and some fantastic questions from the judges.
The time has come, and we have a winner. I feel like I've just been passed the virtual envelope like we're at the Grammys. We don't have a drum roll, but we do have a winner. And the winner is Dimitri with Tortoise. Congratulations, Dimitri. Anything you want to say about your win?
Wow. Thanks so much for the opportunity to share our story. We're honored to be part of this event, and hopefully we'll have Tortoise carts at your stores very soon.
Great to have you, and well-deserved.
Thanks again, Sterling, and all our participants in our first Startup Mic Drop. And congratulations to Dimitri and the Tortoise team for their victory today. Your comments and thoughts around Sharik and Vive notwithstanding, Dimitri did a great job, and that Tortoise technology is pretty cool. Dimitri and Tortoise will join us again for the Mic Drop Showdown in December, and we'll look forward to seeing him compete against our future winners. Thanks also to Accelerate 360 and Navajo Inc. for their series sponsorship. The next episode of Startup Mic Drop will be presented on Thursday, May 6th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, where we'll showcase companies focused on health and wellness innovation in partnership with Jumpstart Foundry. For more information on the series, visit gmdc.org/upcoming events. I'm Patrick Spear, and on behalf of the GMDC Retail Tomorrow team, thanks for your support. See you next time.